Hi traders, welcome to this video analysis brought to you by Admiral Markets on this 27th of October. We're going to take a look as always at the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen and AUDUSD. But before we do that though, this disclaimer explains that the video analysis is intended for a global audience. Please take into account that this session may not be suitable for everyone. Please go to admiralmarketsglobal.com to find out more and if this is appropriate for you. Also, please be aware that trading for exchange is considered high risk and it may not be suitable for all traders and investors. Please be aware of that and seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. Thank you for your attention. We have a great lineup regarding the webinars as always this week. And tonight, Nenad is going to take a look at the weekly FX recap. And on Wednesday, a system for part-time traders. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning, we have Fibonacci wave trading, intraday trading and moving average trading. So looking forward to see you then. And on Thursday, we're going to take a look at momentum versus correction. So we got a lot of good webinars here lined up for free. Hope to see you soon in one of these webinars. First one to review, let's take a look at the euro dollar weekly chart. And we see that last week was basically a bearish candle, although there was a bit of a wick at the bottom and a bit of a bounce at the low of the week before. So in that regard, we're having definitely a bit of a pause within this downfall, of course, and we have already had 3 weeks with no continuation of that downtrend as yet. So if we put a fib from top to bottom here at the moment, then we see that, of course, price could go to the 38.2 fib at 129.60. It already stopped more or less here at the 23.6, or actually halfway, in fact. So that is the main question. Will price retrace all the way up to the 38.2 fib, or will it continue with that downtrend? For the moment, my analysis usually says 38.2 fib is more likely in such a scenario. So I'm still thinking that there could be a bounce up to that level and a respect then, for instance, for that trend line right in here if price can get up that high. It could take longer as well, and in that regard we don't know exactly how long this could take. It could even take a few weeks, maybe another 2 weeks, for instance. And if we then zoom into the lower time frames, you can see that the correction here is taking this kind of shape, a channel, for instance, here with price bouncing on Friday at this green support level. So this to me is still a bouncing spot here for potential upside to the 38.2 fib. Now that upside could be quite choppy in this channel, by the way, something like this. Or if we do break through that green and blue trend lines, then that could be, of course, a potential breakout to be aware of. And of course, always be careful at the bottom. So that's basically, in my opinion, the bull bear line here for up or downside. And let's see how price responds when it probably dips down to 126.75, 126.50 throughout this week if we get that bounce in this channel or the break of the channel to the downside. Next one is the pound dollar weekly chart, and we had a doji last week, in fact. Same thing as the euro dollar, a lot of indecision the last 3 weeks with basically a doji last week and then a pin bar, and before that a big wick at the top. So it is consolidating within that big fall, just like the euro dollar. And if we zoom into the daily chart here, we can see a triangle being built basically as we speak. If we connect the dots here, the tops and the bottoms, for instance, like this, we can see that triangle being built. And before that, price already kind of slowing down between these bottoms right in here, making maybe what some could call a falling wedge. Now we've broken out of that falling wedge in the meantime and made a contracting wedge. So these lines are the lines in the sand for the moment, and we'll have to see how price responds to these. We could put a fib like this, for instance. Maybe price could get up to the 50 fib here, or the 61.8, for instance. Or if we break the support line, we could fall down to the targets, which in the bigger run, the bigger scheme of things, the target to the downside could be 157.50 and eventually 155, 153.50 here. So those would be the targets. So this triangle will say a lot and will indicate what price could do. In the meantime, though, it could be a slowish, choppy zone right in here, and we'll have to be very careful with the pound dollar here, because if you look at the 4-hour chart, it is quite a consolidation. So even a break, be careful, because the pound likes to break these wedges basically, and then do the opposite. So even with breakouts, I'm going to be very cautious with the pound dollar for this particular week of trading. All right, let's take a look at the AUDUSD, whereas the EURUSD looks at a bullish bouncing spot to me, and the pound dollar really remains a question mark with all that kind of ups and downs and consolidation. The weekly on the Aussie is showing some bullishness here. We have 3 bullish candles in a row, but then again, the highs of those candles are really not going anywhere. So yes, here too, we are seeing some kind of triangle being built. And just like the pound, in fact, it is kind of a similar structure where we're getting a contracting wedge right here. Now, before that, we could say, okay, this was actually more of an expanding wedge. So in that regard, some would maybe view this as a diamond formation. Whatever chart pattern you see in it, I guess it is some kind of consolidation, some kind of sideways move. So in that regard, here too, waiting for the break. I like the break to the downside more because of the very big momentum prior to that fall. So I would love to see price now break to the downside. In fact, price is already quite high right now in the sense that it's at the top of this chart pattern. This could be a bouncing spot to go maybe, for instance, at least back to the bottom of this chart pattern. So it is a bit early in the week, but it could be a bouncing spot for at least a move back to the bottom, and who knows, maybe the break already. Difficult to say when the break will happen if the zone is that big, but that is one of the things to look for, a bounce and a break. If price does break to the upside, I am not too enthusiastic about it. I will definitely keep an eye on it. I would like to see price then break and make a bull flag and then break again before I really get interested in this counter trend direction at the moment. All right, last but not least, the dollar yen weekly chart. We had a very big wick, of course, 2 weeks ago, and now followed by a bullish candle. And yeah, this is looking like follow through, a bounce to the upside. So for me, the dollar yen is bullish because of the price action here on the weekly chart. And you can see, of course, the momentum prior to it, or several momentums that are bullish here and here and here. So in that regard, obviously the bounce is not so strange. Plus, look at that, right at that 105 level, which was, of course, the previous top, and has now become support. Broken resistance becomes support. And you can see the price bouncing at this level. So in this regard, a follow through to the upside would seem the most likely at the moment. And if you look at the 4-hour chart, we are making kind of a smaller bull flag right in here. So this is just like the euro dollar, more interesting than the GU basically, and the AU, the Australian dollar. I would like to see, of course, a break of this line. This is a resistance line that is certainly valid, and we have this support line. But all in all, if we look at the hourly, you can see here this flag. So that looks like a bullish bull flag, obviously. And in that regard, a break of the flag and the resistance trend line right here would be probably a good breakout trade to at least test or retest these tops where I have the red-green horizontal line. So that's basically what I'm looking for the dollar yen. And it will be in the flow, of course, with the bigger momentum, but also the short-term momentum. We have upside, retracement, upside, shallow retracement. So that break does look good. So that's basically my my analysis here for this week. Dollar yen, euro dollar look the most interesting, and of course we have to see how the dollar reacts because the dollar yen looks bullish. The euro dollar looks bullish too, so that would have opposite rules of the dollar. We'll have to see how the dollar responds to the yen and euro, whereas the pound and the Aussie are in wedges, and we'll have to see how those chart patterns play out in this week. So thanks for joining. I hope to see you in one of our webinars soon. Wish you very good trading and happy hunting and a very good week as well. Cheers.